The Odyssey program. It's been a long journey. It's been a tough ride. I see it in your faces. I'm actually very proud that you guys reached that key milestone. And we're finishing strong this program. And this week could not be possible if you guys hadn't gone through the previous weeks. So you need to see the DevOps weeks as a culmination of all those things you've been through, that you've seen, that you've witnessed, that you've accomplished, that you've delivered, that you've been corrected on, that you've been awarded points for. All these things that happen to you, they are useful and they are requirements or prerequisites to this week. And I'm not kidding. The DevOps week is the week where you run stuff. What do I mean by where you run stuff? Well, here's what I mean. So, in the world of technology, in the world of IT, information technology, there are basically three missions, or I break it down into three key things you need to accomplish within technology. So when you're a CTO, a Chief Technology Officer, you need to master all of those three missions. One is to plan. So plan is about managing your digital products. It's about federating input from your stakeholders, making sure that you put them in the right order in terms of priority, and you give them the right budget to accomplish them. Maybe you don't have budget to accomplish some of them. You need to deal with that. Planning is about managing your projects. Plan is also about getting feedback from the field so that it can feed the further iterations of your product. That's what plan is about. You need to be able to plan for a roadmap that will take some of the resources you have at your disposal to deliver on digital projects, digital products that are meant to be used by internal users, by external users, by customers. That's what planning is about. You need to know what you're going to do. That's the first mission of a CTO. The second mission is to build. Some problems need their solutions. And to solve, sometimes you have to build software, or you have to integrate software. You need to build integration capabilities to external software so that you can actually accomplish your mission. That's what building's about. You need engineering capabilities, you need architecture capabilities, you need testing or quality assurance capabilities. So those are all things that basically I've taught you how to do during CodeBox. Once you're builders, now that you know how to build things, there's a third mission that we need to cover. And we need to cover the run part. Your software is meant to be executed. It's meant to be used. It's meant to be exploited. Some of it will generate revenue for your company. Some of it will enhance margins. Some of it will be a cost center. And you want that cost to be as low as possible. So running software is a very important part of your discipline of being a technologist. So that's what we want to talk about this week. We want to talk about running your software in the cloud. CodeBox exists because the cloud has been democratized. You've learned these things in the cloud. Now you need to operate your software, and you need to maintain it in operational conditions, and you need to optimize it, and you need to manage change on it within the run function. And because this has been born with the cloud, there's a discipline, there's a job that's born out of it. It's called DevOps, Development Operations. So it's the part where you manage infrastructure, spin up services, manage services, be careful with the cost of what you spin up in the cloud, It's also where you're the first line of defense against everything that happens to your information system. Like someone has issues operating or interacting with your software, they will probably call a hotline of some kind, and it'll land on your laps. Like you will be bound to fix the issues they report. So it's about being first line of defense against everything that happens. Sometimes you'll have to escalate it to the build team again for them to fix what they've created in terms of bugs. And sometimes it's about a marriage between existing infrastructure, the cloud that you've been leveraging, and your users. That's what Run and DevOps are about. And it is extremely important because it relates to all these attributes of applications and software that we've talked about throughout the entire course of the 14 weeks of Odyssey. So software needs to be flexible. You need to be able to expand it. It needs to be able to scale and adapt. We talked about information security at length. So it needs to be safe to use. Your software needs to not break every time you use it. So it needs to be robust. Nobody wants software that's slow and that takes forever to load. So you need to be fast. It needs to be efficient. Nobody wants software that is not usable. Interface for user interface and user experiences that are not intuitive, that are not likable. If your product is a good product, if let's say you sell something on the web, even though you have the best product in the world, you might actually deter some users, some visitor of your website to buy it or to purchase it because of an awful user experience. So you got to be careful with that. And I think we demonstrated enough that your software, your applications, they need to be consumed on so many form factors. Alexa, Google Home, your mobile phone, TV screens, screen on a fridge, appliance in your laundry room. That's there. We're there. That's where we're at. So the attributes of your application, they're all impacting the way you're going to have to run that software and how you're going to operate it and how you're going to maintain it in operational conditions. And to do that, we have a discipline called DevOps. It's a real job. It's a job that involves a lot of skills, a lot of steps, and it's a cycle by itself. And you need to be careful with the way you unfold that cycle, and it repeats forever. So you need to systematize your tasks. You need to automate some of it. You need to track and trace what happens in your information system so you can take the right actions at the right time when things occur. DevOps is about knowing what's going on with your information system at all times and being able to act whenever necessary and bring in the right action to actually fix or stop or recover or troubleshoot some things that are happening throughout the life cycle of your information system. That's what DevOps is about. And to do this, you have an infinity of tools that have, like, you remember how I told you industries need to be mature so they can be leveraged? So DevOps is one of the industries, one of the practices, one of the fields of technology that have matured the fastest. It's the accelerated democratization of the cloud that made that happen. But DevOps is a true thing. It's a real thing because it has so many tools that you can rely on to do a good job that it became a thing really quickly. There's even an electronically traded fund, so an opportunity for investment on the stock market that is specifically targeted to DevOps. You have DevOps funds, which regroup all the companies that I've listed here. all the companies that you can invest in that actually provide tools to monitor, service, troubleshoot, and automate service around your applications. So those are all, that's a subset of everything that's out there. Like, so you can do logging with Sumo Logic, with Elastic. You can manage your source code here with GitHub. You can automate the delivery by getting the source code right from GitHub from the API, and every time the master branch is published, you know what the master branch is at this point, right? Well, every time you update it, it gets uploaded somewhere. You can do provisioning of configuration in the cloud. There's testing automation. There's automation on the builds. You have Slack, which is part of the DevOps community, because this is how this is what you use to communicate. So there's a constellation of monitoring and communication and servicing tools and logging and microservices that are used in the DevOps world. So that ecosystem is really mature. There's tons of tools, and there are, like, between the time I present this slide to you and the time you look at it, there's probably the double services that will have run. And some of them will have disappeared as well, because there's a fierce competition on that market, on that field. So you're always on the lookout for, like, what's trendy, what am I going to do, what am I going to specialize in when I graduate from CodeBox? Well, so we've already said artificial intelligence is a pretty good field, right? We also said cybersecurity is a pretty good field. Well, DevOps is an amazing field to specialize in. If you want to get deeper into some of those tools, some of that knowledge, you'll get a job at Google, you'll get a job at Facebook, you'll get a job at Microsoft in no time. Because DevOps is really a key driver of growth. And all of this is due to the democratization of the cloud. So this week, we're going to explore some of those tools, okay? Again, it's not because it's the last week that you're going to be in a position where you can master everything. But I'm telling you, this is an opportunity to get acquainted with several tools and know what the DevOps business is about. We ran our program by many, many people specialized in DevOps, people passionate with DevOps. And they say it's a good initiation. It's a good start. So we're very proud of that acknowledgement. And the few use cases we put in the documentation of this week are really meant to have you explore the surface of some of the tools about logging, about monitoring, about acting on things that happen on your information system. But at least you will have delivered at the end of this week an information system to rocket elevators as you depart for a better endeavor. You will have delivered an actual information system that can be maintained in operational conditions with proper tools. People will not be blind to the errors happening on your information system. People will not be blind to the events occurring in the information system that you delivered. So that's what this week in DevOps is about. It's about starting to look into a few tools, only a few, that enable you to claim and say that you know what DevOps is about. This is essentially what this is. And it's the best way to conclude our journey, because see it as the interdisciplinary capstone where it requires to go back to your database. It requires for you to go back to your web server. It requires for you to monitor the web services you're calling from all over the place. It involves you getting into the nuts and bolts of the error that happens, and you need to catch them, and you need to log them somewhere. So it's an opportunity for you to go back to what you've delivered on and put eyes and cameras on it so that what happens to it actually gets recorded and you can act on it. So there you go. We're done. That's the last assignment I had for you. I'm truly, truly proud to have reached the end of this journey with you. I hope you get the most out of this last week, and I hope that you perform well in the ping pong tournament that'll also happen this week, because there's always ping pong tournaments on the last week of the journey. And I already take this time to congratulate you on achieving and reaching the end of the program. It's an incredible achievement. There's many of you who did it, and we have amazing stories of CodeBox graduates who actually managed to jumpstart their career based on what we've taught them here. And I'm extremely proud that you trusted us with your time. These have been 4 very intensive months, and I'm very proud that I've been with you all this time along. And I hope that this is just goodbye, and I hope that you're going to stay an active part of the community. So it can go both ways. Either you never hear about us again and we never hear about you again. It did happen before, but most of the time it's the opposite. It's people stay active, people make fun, people have fun with the new graduates, the new participants, and as time goes by, our community is growing and growing and growing, and it gains in value, and we manage to have a positive impact not only over your training, like you did, but we managed to have a positive impact over your entire career beyond the boot camp. So on this, I congratulate you again. I thank you for your trust, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the journey. Thank you. Bye-bye.